Hey, the Ringmaster here, and this is my final impression for the series, Tokyo Ghoul. So, when it comes to this episode, episode 12 for Tokyo Ghoul, there are things I liked about this episode, and there are things I disliked about this episode, and that's something I can actually say when it comes to this entire freaking season of Tokyo Ghoul. There are things I liked about it, and there are things I disliked about it. So, I want to start off with some of the things I liked about this season, and then I'm going to get into all the things I disliked about it, because there's a lot of things I actually disliked about the season, and I just hope that you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. The reason why I kind of dislike this season the way I do, because there's a lot of things, a lot of issues that I actually had with it, and I'm about to just lay it all out in this video here, so hopefully you guys understand or see where I'm coming from at least, you know. If you love this season, you love this season. If you hate this season, you hate this season. Or if you like me, then you like me. You know, I just want to get my opinion out here and just give you all my reasons why I dislike this season the way I do. Like, to rate this season as a whole, this season is like a 7 out of 10. It's a decent season. It's not terrible, but it's not that great either. I feel actually that season 1 was actually done better. I would say season 1 was like 8 out of 10 for me, you know? So, yeah, but that's just how I feel. So, the things I actually liked about this season for Tokyo Ghoul. For instance, for this last episode, I adore, and this is probably my favorite scene out of the season. I adore that scene where you had Hide in his arms, and they're just walking, and then Unravel, like, oh, I was like, oh, reading Unravel, and the feels came, I was feeling it, you know, when Hide died and everything like that. That whole scene where we thought Kaneki was bleeding, but no, it was actually Hide the whole time, and he was like, what? And so, I mean, yeah, I was wondering how he got out of that situation with, you know, with those other ghouls unscathed, but as we see, it wasn't unscathed. Like, this boy pretty much died in Kaneki's arms, and it's like, that was sad, and that actually had impact on me. I did feel that one. And then that whole scene with him just holding him and just walking, and the song was playing, I was like, yeah. And the cinematography, like the way they animated that was beautiful. Like, it was really good. That was a really great scene, actually. If I had to say anything when it comes to this, and I haven't said anything like this entire season when it comes to Tokyo Ghoul. I never said anything was great for the season. But this right here was actually done very well. You know, and the message was there too, you know, throughout this episode. Which is, you know, you have to endure loss and to move forward, you know. So, like, that message was there too. I understood the symbolism that was going on with this episode. So, like I said, that was one of the best parts about this whole season, honestly. It was that right there. So, I really did enjoy that. I really enjoyed that twist that happened with Ito being the daughter of the old man at the coffee shop. I was like, what? I did not expect that. And it makes sense why she had an interest in Kaneki then at that in that sense then too. So I really did enjoy that aspect of it as well. That was really good. I like that twist. And it was like right at the end, like you have to listen to the ending song, then at the end you see that, and I was like, oh, okay, because it got me. See, I thought I got done with the ending, I thought it was over. Like I didn't even go. But I'm glad I went back and checked. I was like, okay, so there's something else after. But that was a really good twist. Like I said, again, the cinematography throughout the season actually wasn't necessarily bad. Like there are certain things within certain episodes that I did like how they handled certain scenes. There were certain scenes that they did do that I did like actually. So yeah, throughout this entire season, the cinematography is done pretty well. You know, a lot of things like this whole season honestly was very symbolic. You know, there's a lot of symbolism going on with here, which is why things felt a little slow in the first place. But yeah, so like I said, the cinematography was good. Another thing I actually liked about this season, going back a little bit, I like that scene with Kaneki talking to Jason's brother and everything, how that whole thing was handled, and trying to comfort him and everything. I actually liked that scene. That was a really strong and powerful scene. I did like that. I liked when Gourmet Eater dude was trying to stop Kaneki from freaking going out there on the battlefield, and that was kind of funny. Like he had his butt off. Like the actor for him was he'd be adding his butt off with him. But that was a pretty nice scene too. I did enjoy. So there's things I actually enjoyed throughout this season. There are certain scenes I did like, you know. So like I said, I'm not here with just pure hate or anything like that. I did enjoy certain factors, certain things of this season, but there's just a lot of other things that outweigh the things I liked. It's the reason why I feel the way I do when it comes to Tokyo Ghoul. And so let me get into some of the things I disliked about this season. Kaneki. I've said this so many times in my reviews, which is why I had to kind of stop, because this is getting ridiculous, but I wish we had more screen time with Kaneki. Yes, still, I wish he had more screen time. I wish he had more time to talk or say something. I mean, he's a different kind of character in this season anyways, So, you know, he's very stoic now, and you don't really talk like that, you know? He's like Batman, you know? You just don't really say anything. I just wish he had a little bit more to say sometimes, or, you know, just show him more, show Aogiri more, you know? Like, when I did the first, well, I had my, you know, my impressions for it when I watched the first episode. I was thinking that we're going to get more into Aogiri Tree, what's going on with them and everything like that, instead of Aunt Heku, you know what I mean? Or, you know, just not necessarily mess with the, well, we'll still mess with the freaking, the police force and everything like that, but I thought we'd get more Aogiri Tree is all I'm trying to get at, you know? I thought we needed more development on their side of things, but we didn't get any of that really at all. So it was just like, I don't know. I just wish there's still more Kaneki that was in here, because Kaneki is the main character, and he's one of the things that still intrigues me throughout this entire, you know, this entire show. Honestly, you know, I'll admit that. And I just wish he was more, you know, BA in the whole season too. Just wish he just went in, started going ham with that new strength and stuff like that. But you know, yeah, that didn't really happen. That's the thing when it comes to Kaneki 2. That's the other thing. He became a lot more shonen-esque, if you know what I mean by that. Like, he became more of a trope, I guess you can say. You know, like he became that trope that's in a lot of anime, a lot of shonen anime, anyways, where I have this power but I can't control it, kind of thing. Like how with Naruto, for instance, you know, he had that power he couldn't control. Like with Bleach, he had that mask thing with the hollow inside, and he couldn't freaking control that. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we have these things going on, and it's just like, why are we doing it again? Why are we doing it in this season? Like, or this year's, I mean, you know? Like, it just, I don't know, I didn't particularly like that he couldn't really control the power, and he's like, it's eating him away, but there's a symbolic message to that, though, too, but it's just, I don't know, it just made me feel like it was going more that shonen-esque route, you know, and I didn't really I couldn't really mess with it, honestly. That's just me, you know. Toka, for instance, another thing, Toka as a character in season 2 wasn't really much for me, honestly. Like, she just kind of, I don't know, it's like she kind of fell into the background. Like, she felt like she was a lot less weaker. She became one of those characters, like in like Sakura, for instance, like always trying to catch up to the main character, or like with Murano and Parasite, like, you know, there's these characters, these women. It's always these women. They always have to try to catch up to the guy. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of felt like that with this season. And it's like she became another trope, just like how Kaneki became a trope. It's like these characters started becoming tropes in this season, and I was just like, no. And because I thought Toka was gonna be different, you know. And she started really just, you know, focusing more so on well, not this. It's like she went to that college, for instance. But the only reason I feel like she went to that college is because Kaneki went to that college. It's just like, you know, she started doing things because Kaneki was there, or Kaneki doing this. You know what I mean? It's just like, it felt like she didn't have her own, and it kind of like took her character away from me a little bit, as opposed to season 1. Because season 1, I felt like she was a little different. She kind of had her own. She seemed like she was actually pretty powerful too. You know what I'm saying? She had a more significant role, I felt, in season 1 than she did in season 2, and it just kind of let me down when it came to Toka's character. So that's another thing I kind of disliked about this season here. Animation was a letdown too, because even though I praised episode 12 for its animation for certain things they had in there, there were other parts that was a little weak when it came to animation, actually. And I could say that throughout the entire freaking season of this, you know, of Tokyo Ghoul, especially when it came to that whole fight with that one Asian Ming Dynasty dude and everything like that. That crap was terribly done. Like, God, the animation was terrible, and it made everything so slow. I was like, what happened, people? Come on now. Like, it's just the animation was really faulty in the season, and it kind of took away some of the enjoyment factor for me, because, you know, the first season, again, because I always have to refer back to the first season, the animation was a lot better, the fights were stronger, you know, they had more, there was more fluid, and the action was just better, honestly. This season's action, it just wasn't all that great. You know, I couldn't really dig it. I couldn't really dig it. And speaking of the Ming Dynasty guy, what was the point of him? He came there, he saw freaking Kaneki, he saw Rize inside Kaneki, so he wanted to hurt him, which is, I guess, it was just the only reason why that I feel like that actually happened, was to try to push him to go into freaking Centipede Kaneki mode and everything. So we know he has Centipede mode and everything, you know? But I'm just like, you could have done with any character. Why the heck you gonna throw some random dude that never comes back? Like, he never came back. I thought maybe he might come back at the end of the season or something and do something, you know? No, this dude bounced after he got out of the prison place. I was like, what? Like, I don't understand what was the purpose of that. And that's the thing when it comes to this entire season too, actually. Like, the way this ends off, unless it gets another season, it's not that good then, actually. It kind of diminishes certain things they're trying to do then, because this needs another season, not a prequel, because it is getting a prequel, and it's going to be starring the Arima dude that we see in this episode here. That supposedly, because we don't know if he killed Kanagi or not, it's hard to tell, because that's the thing about this season. It's everything very symbolic. They don't really tell you anything up front anymore, so there's a lot of things that are unanswered for this season, and I hate things that are unanswered. Like I said, we don't know if Kanagi's dead. When it comes to Ito and her father and everything, like, is her father actually still alive, or did he die? Like, we don't. It seems like he did, but I'm not sure, because unless you really say and confirm that he's dead, you don't really know. You know what I'm saying? God, a lot of, especially when it comes to Shonen. Shonen does it a lot, so I don't know if he's actually dead or not. Amon, do we know if he's dead or not? We know Shinohara, that boy, he's gonna live. He's hanging on by a thread, but he's gonna live. So Juzo don't need to be crying. It's okay, Juzo. He's gonna live. Shinohara's gonna live. I really do feel that way. Yeah. So, like I said, there's just so many things actually that they just missed that they didn't like answer. That it just left a bad taste in my mouth. That in a way, because I was just sitting here like, man, there's certain things I liked about it, but then it's like this is I was like, come on now, like, come on. And the funny thing is, last season did the same thing. The last season did the same thing, and I'm actually okay with how they did with the last season, only because we got a second season. that's what's so funny about it, because if it ended off just like that and didn't get a second season, there were things that needed to be answered that, you know, supposed to happen. And the thing is, just this season left with a lot of questions unanswered. I honestly, it brought more questions than answers. So it's just like, goddamn, it needs another season. And I'm looking forward to that sequel, that prequel that's coming out with Arima and everything, because maybe that might give us some more hints on stuff, and it might reveal certain things and so on and so forth. So I'm definitely gonna try to check that out when it does come out. But it's just, like I said, it's just, that's not good to do that when it comes to an ending. So, like I said, that's the other reason why I'm like, I don't know about this, you know. And the main thing that I had, this is the main gripe I actually had with this entire season, is that the pacing was horrendous. Like, it was just really slow on a lot of episodes. Majority of these episodes, because they were trying to do this whole symbolic, cinematography kind of like theme that were going on here, it left a lot of things, it just made things a lot slower, you know? Like, Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 didn't actually do that. A lot of their stuff, a lot of the messages that they had, they were like straightforward to us, you know? It was kind of obvious, you know, that they were trying to do, you know? Kanagi is the bridge between both worlds and everything like that. Seeing that ghouls aren't necessarily all bad, and humans aren't necessarily all bad either, but there are those bad apples, and so on and so forth, you know? And Amon was that point where Amon is the guy, he's the guy on the human side, and Kanagi is the ghoul on the ghoul side, you know, and they tell two different stories and everything, but they're very similar stories, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was the whole message that they're doing for Season 1 and everything. It was very clear what they were doing, you know? Season 2 was not clear because they were trying to do a lot of symbolism going on here, which you can still catch. I'm not saying it's like you didn't understand it. It's just because the way they went about it, and they're being trying to be more cinematographic, like freaking what's that show Shinichiro Watanabe made, Terror Resonance. They were doing like a Terror Resonance kind of like thing going on here with all the cinematography going on. It's just the way they handled it, the way they did it though, it just felt boring, you know. There are certain episodes that I almost fell asleep on, actually, because it was just so slow. It was so slow. I was like, God dang. I was like, come on now. They can speed things up a little bit. So that was another thing I actually disliked about it, you know. So that's the main thing. That's the main gripe I actually had with it. It's just on an entertainment value for me, anyways. It wasn't delivering, you know. It just wasn't as, it didn't pull me in as well as it could have. The first episode did do something for me, but it just didn't lead up to anything that I was honestly looking for. And there could be some creative differences that I even have with it, you know. It could just be me in certain ways I feel. Though some of the things that I'm saying are valid, you know. But when it comes to this, maybe it's slow pacing. Maybe this is not something for me, because I mean, people can watch freaking One Piece and be fine with that pacing. I hate One Piece pacing. I don't watch One Piece anime. Same thing when it comes to Naruto's anime. Naruto's anime is slow pacing. That's why I sometimes don't watch it. There are certain things I will watch, certain scenes I'll watch, but I won't really watch the whole episode when it comes to Naruto, because Naruto will be on that slow pacing. And some people can watch that though. They're okay with that kind of pacing, but I'm not, you know. I was really hoping for more of an entertainment value kind of thing going on here when it comes to this season. So that was like these are the things that I was having a problem with, for me anyways. This is why I was having a hard time watching this season. I think when it comes to one other thing I actually liked about the season, by the way, I think I forgot to say this, but the music was amazing. That's one thing I will say when it comes to the whole cinematography, the whole symbolism for the slower pacing, is that we got more time to focus actually on the soundtrack. The soundtrack really stood out to me for this season actually, and it's really good. So I started actually listening to some of the soundtrack, and it's something to listen to. It's really good. So I do like the soundtrack as well when it comes to this season. It was really good. But yeah, so this is the problems. These are the things that I'm laying out right here. You know, a lot of things felt very shonen-esque. You know, it just started becoming, you know, your typical shonen kind of feel, and I didn't like that. And a lot of people didn't really die either, so it's this other kind of like shonen-esque thing. But yeah, and the slow pacing was what it was. And like I said, when it comes to Kanagi's character, Toga's character, I wasn't really feeling them like that. And I feel like there's something else that I kind of disliked about it. But oh, another thing, I just remembered the freaking what are they? Because they got shown in like the first episode, but they didn't do anything. Those clown people, yeah. Remember the people with clown masks? Like, oh, we about to do something. What happened to that? That led up to nothing. It's like there are certain things that this season did that they didn't know what they're gonna do, so they kind of forgot. That's like that's other thing. So you can't just, like I said, you don't want to be blinded by some of these things. You know, you don't want to be blinded and be like, "This series is perfect." When you talking about break, it's so perfect. No, I'm just look at it like here. You know, that's why I want you guys just to understand where I'm coming from here. There are just certain things that they did do wrong in this season, but there are things they did do right. So this is how I feel about it. This video was really long, actually. I am sorry. So yeah, leave a comment below and tell me what you think of Tokyo Ghoul. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Like I said, I'm more the indifferent. I'm indifferent right now. You know, I don't necessarily hate it. I don't necessarily dislike. I don't necessarily hate it. I don't necessarily like it. You know, this is how I feel. But what do you guys feel about this season? Tell me in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to see some more final impressions from me, the Breakmaster. Also, if you watch this entire video, I want you to say JoJo. No, I'm not gonna say that. Say freaking cable box. You know, something just outlandish. I'm looking at my Dish Network thing, or not Dish, but DirecTV box. Say cable box. Say cable box. If you watch this whole video, say cable box. So yeah, this has been the Breakmaster, and until then, people, break out.